Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirlooms. Today we're going to create the little French seams on both sides of the garment. So I need to use my silk pins and pin these seams together. So I'll start up here lining up the lace and work my way down the side. Now you notice these edges are a little bit raggedy. After I sew the first pass, before I go to the ironing board to press it to one side, I will trim these little raggedy edges that we had because the fabrics got handled a little bit while I was smocking, and that happens. I think it also happens because the fabric flares a little bit as it goes out. Okay, so I've got my pink thread in my machine. I've got it set to a straight stitch. And since I don't like to start on the lace, I like to start at the bottom of the gown. I'm gonna do a pass with the sewing machine about 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. So let me line up my fabric with my needle, and I will proceed to sew, taking my pins out as I come to them. Okay, so this will take me a minute to sew, so I won't make you watch me sew. Okay, so I have both sides sewn, the first pass, and I'm going to use my embroidery scissors and clip away these little raggedy ends because I do not want them sticking out of the second pass of my seam. So this will take me a minute to get both sides done. But just clip them away. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I have both sides trimmed nicely, and I'm going to go to the ironing board and press my seam to one side so that I can come back and iron the second pass of the French seam. Okay, so I have been to the ironing board and I have pressed that seam to one side. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to sew my second seam at about 3/16 or 1/8 of an inch to make a tiny little French seam on this particular garment. There we go. Got the first one done. So I got to go back and do the second one, but I'll do that one off camera. All right, that made for some tiny little seams on the garment. But you know, if you just do just the tiniest bit on the first pass and just a little bit more on the second pass, that works out. Now I need to go to the ironing board one more time and press my seams towards the back of the garment. But that will take me a minute at the ironing board. Okay, so I've been to the ironing board and I've pressed my seams to the back. So we're getting really near to being finished. I need to hem the garment first, but before I do that, I'm going to cut my buttonholes open and sew my buttons on the other placket so that I can actually button the garment together before I hem it. That's a trick that I'm not quite sure where I learned how to do that, but it helps make sure that your hems line up from side to side. But I've got my little buttons. They're real pretty. They're like the 1/4-inch buttons, so I've made real small buttonholes. So I will, off camera, be cutting the buttonholes open and sewing the buttons onto the side of the garment. And when you see me next time, I will have the garment buttoned and I'll be working on the ironing board to pin the hem in place. But thank you.